Kalali Dobe out of Calvert County, Maryland. I just got one question for you today. I got one question for you today. This goes way back when you first started talking to us. You talked to us about buying your freedom papers. You got a chance to employ yourself and kind of get out of of being employed by other people in it. And so I wanted to ask you, how important was that for you? Was that an initial goal that you always had and you finally was able to realize it? And how impactful has that freedom been in helping you to grow, take advantage of opportunities, and also to take on a risk in your own business as you've been growing it?
In 2005, I got married in 2005. We started an organization in 2008. So I was only 3 years into my marriage. And so that's pretty much still newlywed, right? And
Right.
then that same year or so, I was told I would never be able to conceive a baby
Wow.
and that we should just consider adopting. So in 2012, I mean, 2012, 2014, someone came to us and said they were pregnant. They weren't planning on keeping the baby, and they wanted to know if we would like to adopt. Well, when you adopt, you have to go through several steps, but you have to have verifiable income and things like that. And we were like, oh man, I'm just now coming into this. I'm making like 25, 28,000 with my own business, but I'm still not making that much to show that we could take on a baby, right? And then my husband, he was working um security and at nighttime so that he can work the business during the day. And we're like, we just we just don't have enough money. What was important for us was building a family. That was important for us. We prayed. We did a lot of seeking because we thought about like maybe we should go back to work because at that time now I have an MBA, so I got a master's degree. He has his bachelor's degree, and we're like we can go make. I mean, I could literally make probably like 80,000 at that time. I was like, I can make like 80,000 a year with with what I know on fundraising for nonprofits. And he was like, no, no, we need you to be present with this new baby. We need you to be there, especially because they're coming out of a tough situation with not having their biological mom. So by the time we got the baby, he was 1.5, and we were able to save up some money to just kind of let them know, like we stable, we got savings, we have this business that we're growing, and every year we were growing. It was more this year than was the previous year. So we was able to show them that it was growing, but we wanted to prioritize. We wanted to make sure that we will be there for the important things. So when you say how important was it for me to be able to pay myself a salary and to be able to have the freedom, we first started off what the value system was for our family, and we said, well, family will come first for us. Family will come first before the grind. And that means that now that we have this new baby that we adopted, that we need to be present. And he's going to require, they told us this, that he's going to require a ton of therapy and that he wasn't going to be able to talk. Well, boy, was they wrong on that one. He's dead now, but I had to pull him away today because he was talking so much. But they thought he was going to have a lot of problems, and he ended up being diagnosed with ADHD. And there are some things that we had to do that required a lot of time from therapy and things like that, which I would not have had if I was working a corporate job. But then there was another miracle that happened in 2018 when they told me that I would never be able to conceive or carry a baby. I actually conceived. Now that baby I did not carry full term, and that baby did not make it. But what it showed me was that, wait a minute, they lied to me. They said I could never conceive. Now I know I can. So then it became about, well, let's try this again. And so fertility, and if any of you guys have ever been through this with your wives, it is a lot of money and emotionally draining to try to have a baby. And ultimately, if it took me to just relax a little bit for me to get my body in pristine position to conceive, I needed to do that. So in 2021, which is now in the middle of the pandemic, we had already been awarded that large $1 million grant. My husband told me, I think you should take a break. I was the executive director for the first 12 years of the organization. He said, I can take it on from here. The board actually voted me off and voted him in as the CEO, and he is still today. He's doing a great job. I was a little nervous because I'm the one with the education, the not just the education background, but the nonprofit development background. I'm the one that does the grants and things like that. So I was a little nervous about him taking over the business full time. But I needed to do that because I needed my body to rest. I had not rested since we started Opportunity Now, and my body was just like, you just need to stop. As soon as I stepped down, I conceived again. And now I have a 2-year-old and I'm 46. Whose bright idea was that? I don't know. But,
Well,
oh my goodness.
I can identify with that. My 7-year-old, my 5-year-old in here running around while we doing this podcast, and I'm 46.
See?
So
See? You was like, why did I wait so long?
I was
I
just
wish
talking about that.
I
I was just talking
wish.
about that like a couple weeks ago with my wife. I was like, why did we wait so long to do this?
See?
You're supposed to
I
do
don't,
these things at certain times, man. I'm tired now. I'm tired.
I'm tired. I'm tired. Oh my goodness. But you know what? The fact is that I was able to rest because I had to be on bed rest. That we knew that I was a high risk, right? I was 44, so I was already high risk. But also, I didn't need to have the whole like, how are we going to make it tomorrow, like on my mind while I was going through that. I had that grant, that $1 million grant. It gave us so much cushion, and it gave us so much flexibility. I know now, man. Oh my goodness. Having money, like I know what it's like to not have money, and I know what it's like to have money. And having money is so much easier.
It's way better.
It's way better.
It's way better.
I don't care what nobody say. You can tell me what I know what it's like to be broke, and I know what it's like to not be broke. And I really like not being broke all the time, right? And even when you get to a higher level, it's not like things don't ever get tight, but I know at least I can pay my bills. Now I might not be able to like go on the vacation that I want this year, or some, because we're doing a lot of things now where we're making a shift where businessgrants.com is concerned. Businessgrants.com is a newer initiative that caused us to shift our focus on a technology that cost almost 6 figures to create. Well, somebody got to pay for that. And guess what? I don't have a grant for this yet, but I applied for one that's $100,000. And they told me, so I didn't get it the first time, but he told me exactly what I did wrong on that application. So I'm taking that, putting it in the AI, make the adjustments, resubmit it. I'm going to get that grant. The next time y'all talk to me, I'm going to have that grant. So I'm submitting that this week, actually.
And I appreciate the answer to the question. That actually the answer now I got about 4 or 5 more questions. But I'm a limited to just one follow-up question is
Okay.
so you talked about starting a business very early on in your marriage. How instrumental has having a life partner to do this business and to do this whole walk with, how instrumental has that been in terms of being able to help you realize and follow this dream?
I could not have done this without him. We have the perfect partnership because he does not step on my toes and I don't step on his. He knows what I'm good at, and he like, you do you. One of the things that what I love about how we work together, how well we work together, is he knows that I have the strengths that he doesn't have. He understands that. And because he understands that, he doesn't try to undermine me when I have, for example, I mean, I was the one that brought this grant to him. I said, it's going to be a big undertaking, but I think I can do it. I think I can apply for it. I think we can win it. And he was like, whew, this is going to be a lot. We're going to have a lot of money come, I've talked about the challenges with that, but once we were able to start getting the funds from that, it made it so much easier for my husband and I to just stay in our lane. We always say this. I always tell him, is that your lane or my lane? Is that your lane or my lane? And it's a joke now, but it used to be a problem for us earlier on because he didn't like it when I would jump in his lane. He's operations. He is, when I tell you, he's like the operations guru. He can see the problem before it even happens, which is good. I can't do that. I'm not that person. But when it comes to finding money, grants, contracts, writing, because writing is my skill. That's why I win grants, because before AI, I had grants before AI, but now that AI is here, my grants is doubled because I know what to put in AI because I'm a grant writer, right?
Right, right,
So he's like, I'm not gonna go in your lane and tell you how to write grants. Just like you're not gonna come over here and tell me how to do operations. We have that level of respect for each other at this point that I can pretty much have confidence in knowing that whatever direction he's taking the organization is in a good direction. I don't even question him anymore. I used to earlier on when I wasn't sure how he was going. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. He'd be like, trust me, it's gonna work out. Trust me. I'd be like, but he was like, come on, Ty, you what we said we made this agreement not to cross in each other's lanes. Okay, you right. We had to make that agreement because we was stepping on each other's toes, and then what was happening was our employees would say, "Well, Chris said such and such," which was the opposite of what I said.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh no, we can't have this because now our employees are like kids. If they see the friction in us, they gonna play to that. You know what I'm saying? They gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, well that's what Ty said. Ty said we could take our lunch breaks at this time, and then you coming in, you saying no, take your lunch break at this time. So who do we listen to? You or her? Well, she the executive director who's over you, and he's like telling them, well, she's not over me. I'm like, oh my god. Technically, I am. Technically. Now we know in the household we like make the decisions together, but technically you're the director of operations. I'm the executive director. Technically I'm over you. So my word actually is worth more than yours in the eyes of the employees. But he wasn't trying to hear that. So that actually caused a lot of friction earlier on until we made this decision that we was not going to let this business or these kids tear us apart. Because there's two things. There's the two things that, and I see that we saw it. We saw it with a lot of people who started business around the same time. They're no longer together, either the business or them. We didn't want that to be our story, so we put some precautionary things in place, and we got some safe words. And I think that's why we've been able to sustain this business for 17 years and continue to. He's supporting me now in my new initiative with businessgrants.com. I mean, I'm spending a lot of money into this, but he sees the vision. He sees where this could go. He sees that I could sell this company for $100 million. He's like, well, I'm not going to prevent you from doing that. Look, go be your best self. Now, I am bringing in money. So let's say I was pursuing, businessgrants.com, and I'm spending money out of our account, right? And our credit cards and things like that. And I'm not bringing anything in. I think eventually he will be like, look, this little initiative of yours, you're going to need to find another way to fund this because this is coming out of our money. But the simple fact is that I can do a webinar in one day and sell my product and make 30,000 in one day from selling my packages. And so it's for him, he's like, keep doing those workshops. I got one on Thursday. Keep doing those workshops. You good. You good.
It's kind of an abstract question. Like you still out here spinning off and creating new businesses. Just like you said, you just launched this business grants. Like you're already to my mind, what I've heard, you've already scaled the mountain. You already at the top, and you still out here spinning off and creating new businesses and having new ideas. So what keeps you hungry like that? What keeps you hungry to do another thing? And what stops you also? It's the same answer obviously, but what stops you from getting complacent and be like, you know what, I'm good right here.
That's a good question because I've never asked myself what number will it be that when I get that number, I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna stop right here. Somebody told me to think about that number. And I was like, at first it was 1 million, right? I didn't even know I made $1 million the first year I made it. I didn't even know I made it until my accountant told me that I made it the year after that. And I was like, well, this is not where I want to be. Okay, so now we're shooting for 10 million, right? I don't know if it's a dollar amount or if it's a lifestyle. Now, I'm not talking about like the lifestyle of rich and famous, like that type of lifestyle. I'm talking about like there's things that I want to do. Like I want to give away money for a living. That's called philanthropy. Even philanthropy, being a philanthropist is hard work because you got to like look for worthy causes to give money to. But I realized that I can't just give away money because there's an education barrier that exists, and I've seen it in our community. There's an education barrier that exists that there's some people who, if you give, this is the number one reason what happens when athletes get their first million, what happens when rappers get their first million. I just saw, go to Club Shay Shay page. He had Lil Yachty on there last week. And Lil Yachty talked about his first week, him blowing $1.3 million in the first week. Well, the first week he got it. Now he's made it back. But the lack of education, financial literacy is one thing. But there's something about not ever having seen that much money before and then all of a sudden getting it. And something happens in the psyche that says, spend it all, right? But there's something about wealth generation that we're trying to teach our kids that something that we've never experienced. And so as a result, we're teaching them the wrong things. And so I kind of feel like I won't stop until this education of generational wealth is out there in a way that makes sense to the people who look like me. There's so much information out there, but it's like, I mean, I got an MBA and it be going over my head. So I'm like, what about this person over here who they may not be as learned as I am, and they're trying to understand what to do with this $100,000 life insurance policy that just happened. Like their loved one just left them, and what they do, they go and they blow them. It just happened. I just saw this, and someone very close to me passed away and left their kids the money. And the first thing they're doing is, we're gonna go buy depreciating. Now this is what I hear in my head: depreciating assets. But they said, "Oh yeah, I gotta go get me. I'm gonna get a new car, and I need some more clothes." And all they kept talking about was depreciating assets. And I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Nobody not gonna talk about the stocks we're gonna buy. Nobody not gonna talk about the real estate you're gonna buy. Oh no, we're gonna sell the house. And we're gonna take the cash. No, please don't do that. But no, we need the money. We need the money." I felt this like almost like a grieving in my spirit because I know that in 3 years they're gonna be broke and they're gonna be right back where they started, and they're gonna wish they did not sell that house that they could be getting rental income from, because it's like the house barely have a mortgage. I mean, they could pay the house off. The house barely have a mortgage. They could rent the house, get $3,000 a month from the house, live off of that, live off of that. They pull a little bit of equity out so they can have a little cash in their pocket. Take that cash though, some of the cash, go and buy another property that you can live in, and then As that property is appreciating in equity and the other property is already appreciating in equity, then you can just keep doing that auto repeat every 2 3 years. Pull the cash out, put a little bit of cash out of that house, go and buy another property, rent it out, and just keep doing that. I got residual income coming in every month. What's this? The second? I've been looking in my bank account all weekend, looking to see when those tenants are going to deposit that money, the rent. I cannot allow my people to be destroyed because of lack of knowledge. And so as a result, I cannot stop educating. So I don't care how much money I make. I know that as I make more, I have to make my access not as accessible because sometimes people come after you for different reasons. And that's, it's happening now. But I still have to be available to give this education to people who look like me, and then create a platform where they can go to get some additional resources so that they don't have to be left behind and then leave their kids with nothing. I can't do it. I just feel like I have a moral obligation now that I know. I didn't know this. I come from two poor parents. I didn't know any of this information. I acquired this knowledge over time. And then someone said, you know what? I call him my rich uncle. He's like my rich uncle. He's like my rich. You ever read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Okay. So I have a rich dad and I have a poor dad, but he's like my uncle. And he's the one that sat down and talked to me about wealth generation and how we should always be looking for ways to accumulate through asset building. And that's when I started thinking about things totally different. So if I were you, and then anybody who sees this, what fires you should also be the thing that pains you. And for me, it's the lack of education.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Seems like you really got, a heart for service and you really want to, serve people. And I've found that the people who really want to serve and solve problems are ultimately the people who are successful because there's always fires to put out. So more
Yeah,
power,
yeah.
more power to you. More power to you. I really, really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's what I'm talking about. Ty Woods, are you enjoying yourself on Black Men Sundays?
Yeah, I'm loving these questions. It's making me think. Like, I wasn't actually thinking about that, but now you got me thinking about what's next. Like, okay, I do sell, let's say I sell businessgrants.com for $100 million, which is my goal, right? Okay, I sell it for 100 million. Now what? Okay, I got the money. Now the money is not, I can tell you now that the money is not going to be a satisfier for me. It's just going to be a catalyst, a tool for me. I could lose it all. I don't care. Money for me is a tool. I don't have no unhealthy attachment to it.
You keep mentioning businessgrants.com, businessgrants.com. Let's talk about that.
So businessgrants.com was birthed out of my need for other people to find out about grants without calling me. So I saw the business for sale. I couldn't believe it was for sale for like $30,000. So I was like, let's take the money out of my house. I was taking money out of my house. So I took some money out of an asset and I bought it. And then I got approached by a couple of people who are investors in Silicon Valley, and they're like, "Hey, what you're building over here, we know is going to be big because your business initiative, your 1 million business of initiative, your education platform, all of that is not happening with some of the other competitors that they seen in the grant space. And now we are in the process of integrating AI into our platform, which is why it's costing me so much money. But what AI is going to do is take the hard part out of looking for grants and applying for grants. So now you don't have to spend time combing through all of these grants, clicking on it, trying to see if this grant is going to be a good fit for you. AI is going to tell you, nope, this grant is not a good fit for you. I told my developer, I think I want my AI to sound like me. I want the AI to say, what you doing applying for this grant? Click off of this. But I want people to understand that there are just some grants you should not even be applying for. Stop wasting your time. But also, if you do find a grant through the platform or any other platform, how do you write the grant? How do you write the proposal? And our AI technology is going to help you write the proposal for that particular grant based on the guidelines. That's going to be a game changer because now I've taken the two biggest issues that we've done surveys all across the country, and the survey, the two biggest issues. Number one, where do I find grants? Number two, how do I write grants? Are about to be solved in the next version of businessgrants.com, which is going to be released on April 15th. So just be on the lookout for that. And I will give you guys a code where you can have access to businessgrant.com for free for a year once we release the new system.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Wow, that's awesome. And I have one more question for you because earlier we were talking about the nonprofit and having a mission. How do you qualify though as mission based?
So I always tell people, oh, I got a book. I have a book that just was released last week, but it's called Seven Proven Steps to Building a Highly Successful Mission Focused Business. Now, the reason why I focused on steps and not just telling you what a mission focused business is because I don't want you just to know that you need to have a mission focused business. I want you to know how to implement one. And then if you already have a business, how do you shift your business so that it's now more mission focused and not just a money maker. Like our business makes money, but it also has a mission. Our mission is to help small businesses secure funding. So you could take what you do, and then when you have a mission focused business, you're focused on a problem that you're solving for a particular demographic that you're solving it for. For you, Black Men Sundays, you saw a problem in the Black men community, and you're saying, with that problem, this solution is solving this problem. So you have to craft a mission around a mission statement around that. That's going to keep you, number one, it's going to keep you focused on why is it that you don't do clown designing on this platform, because this is not the platform for clown designing. Why aren't you doing dentistry? This is not the platform for that. There is a platform if you want to go into dentistry, but what keeps you focused is your mission. So even with this platform, a mission statement, go on ChatGPT and just say, here is what I do with Black Men Sundays. Create a mission, write down what all the stuff that you do. Create a mission statement, because we're going to become a mission focused business. Create a mission statement, make it no more than 2 sentences, because the mission statement should be to the point, short and to the point. For Opportunity Knocks, the mission statement is to empower youth to make positive and smart choices while increasing opportunities in the arts, education, community service, and bridging cultures. How do I know that mission statement? Because we make our employees memorize it during orientation. They have to say it like 50 times. By the time they leave, they like, the mission statement is. We say it so much. And then I told my husband, when he walking through the halls of the school, I said, you need to go down, because I'm a little bit more stricter than he is. He's really laid back. We have 2 totally different leadership styles. And people, they're not necessarily scared of me, but they know I mean business. So when they see me walking in the halls, they be tightening up. Like, what? Ty's coming, Ty's coming. When he comes down the hall, they be like, hey, Chris, hey, what you got? I'm like, they don't do that with me. Well, one day I was walking down the hall. I just did a pop-up visit. And I was like, what's the mission statement? And then I thought about it. One of the other young ladies, she said, why are you walking down the halls like Joe Clark? I'm talking about what's the school song. I said, oh, man, I was not trying to be like that. And that's what made me kind of like loosen up a little bit. But it was very important for me. It was very important for people to know that mission statement. But I was not trying to be like Joe Clark. I was not.
I got you. And what is with these grants, it is a lot of money. What are some dangers with getting these grants? Like, because we're
Yeah.
seeing, oh, it's a lot of money. Oh, that sounds great. I want to do it. But
Yep.
what are some dangers of it?
I told you earlier about the grant that was a blessing and a curse. So sometimes the danger is that you don't have the money to fulfill the grant promise, and you sign this contract. All grants you have to sign a contract agreement saying that you're going to do what you say you're going to do for this grant money, right? Danger. You actually do something else with the money. And then you post about it on social media, and they're like, that's not what we gave them the grant for. Then they come and recall the money. Danger zone. That's a danger zone. Another thing that's dangerous for the money to go into the pocket of the person who wrote the grant or the owner of the person. Look, you can create a salary for yourself like I did within a grant. But if you're writing a grant and you're saying, I'm going to buy 500 turkeys, right? And then there's no paper trail of these turkeys. You then say, you know what? I'm going to go to Cancun because me and my wife, we deserve a vacation. You use that money to go to Cancun, you can go to jail because that's theft. So you have to be very, very careful. If you do not intend on doing what you say you're going to do, don't apply for the grant. This is not free money. Like I hear a lot of social media influencers talking about this free money. Come get this free money. I'm like, oh my goodness. They're about to get some people in trouble. Because yes, it's free money. Yes, it's free money, but it's free because you don't have to pay it back. But it's not free because you have to do what you say you're going to do. That's integrity, right? So I would say don't apply if you don't intend on doing what you say you're going to do. Make sure that you have good look. If you have to leverage your own personal credit to get access to the money, you need to have good credit. So start working on your credit. And I know y'all have had some credit repair person before, and they've told you what you need to do. But look, do what you need to do to get your credit at least a 680. At least 750, that's like ultimate. But between 680 and 720, you can get a lot done with that, right? With Capital One and Chase Inc., on the business side, you can get pretty large limits. So you can be able to fund your business while you're waiting on the grant money. There is not one grant that I've ever gotten where I got the money the next day. None. Now, there's one grant, local grant. You get the award letter, and then about 2 weeks later, the money was in the account. That rarely happens. I mean, rarely happens. So that happened to us twice last year where we got the money pretty quick. But that $50,000 check, when we did that presentation, they didn't even send us the check until 3 months later, the actual check, the 50,000. So we was spending, and we was like, calling exactly when we gonna get the money? Because we need to tell them that we already spent the 50,000. So when we get the 50,000, we'll send them a list of things that we paid for already, and they'll get that final report, and boom. So you need to have some good credits or access to capital until your grant comes. And sometimes a lot of people don't have that.
Oh, that's great information. Yeah, because I've seen that online. Oh, get this free money, do it this way, and I've seen that a lot. That's why I was
Oh
like, let me
man,
ask her
I'd be
about the
so
fear.
mad at that, but I'd be like, oh my gosh. I'd be wishing people just like unfollow, like just please stop saying stuff like that. And then some of these grants are marketing ploys and contests to get your email information so they can be able to market to you. Some of these places are marketing companies like Hello Alice. Hello Alice is not a grant platform, but yet they always have a grant on there that they're hosting. And this is one of the platforms, Hello Alice, and the other one is Amber Grants. You gotta pay $25 or $15 or something like that to even apply for the grant. Now, why would I pay to apply for a grant? What it sounds like is I'm paying. If we get enough people to pay for the grant, you have the money to pay for the grant. So they getting it's a marketing ploy. The goal is if I'm giving away a $10,000 grant, and I'm charging $25. Well, if I have 100,000 people applying for this grant, I just made 250,000. All I need to do is give away 10,000. Well, I can do that. So beware of grants that you have to pay for. If you have to pay to apply, steer clear quick run. No, no. Grants are a true grant has a mission. The foundation or the philanthropist, they have a mission, and that mission is usually supported by a mission statement of a community, a certain problem that they're trying to solve in a community or demographic. And you'll see that on their website. So beware of these grant scams that's out there. There's so many grant scams. If you are asked to pay, don't do it. If you are being asked for a lot of personal information or social security number, like, please do not put in your social security number for a grant application. Nobody, not even the state or the federal government, ask you for your social security number for a grant application. Nobody that's bona fide will ask you for your social security number. So please do not put in your personal identifier information into a grant application. I've been hearing about some horror stories about that.
Is there anything that you wanted to speak about that we didn't ask you?
No, actually, you guys did really good with the questions.
Yeah, yeah, this Black Man Sundays won't play over here because we're trying to get the information out there, and you were talking that talk, so we was just letting you cook.
Yes, I was in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, you was
In the
doing it.
kitchen.
You
You know,
definitely.
I mean, it's all in here. It's all experience. This is 17 years as an entrepreneur, but 25 years in nonprofit development. And I've been doing this for a very long time. I don't know how. That means I started like when I was 5. No.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like trying to figure out how I can be a huge blessing to this community because somebody's going to be watching me and they're going to be like, you know what? All of this is all gravy and everything, but I am broke. I don't know where to start. And I can't afford to pay I definitely can't afford to pay your salary or your fees. What can I do that can get me like started right now? Okay. So if that's you, if you're saying, Ty, I have a business or a nonprofit that I really want to start, I just don't know where to start. I have a free class that I teach on first Thursdays. That class, if you go to Eventbrite, it's on the businessgrants.com Eventbrite page. It's so important for you to get the knowledge, the knowledge. You cannot skip steps. You cannot skip steps. So do your best to attend. If you can attend first Thursdays, which is at 7 p.m. Eastern time, then there's a lot of content that I have on my social media pages. I'm building up the YouTube page so that way we can have some content on there as well. But also you can reach out to me. Now I get a lot of email. I get a lot of course. But if you are absolutely like, I just really have a great mission. I'm doing. Some of you guys are doing stuff out of your own pocket. You've been self funding your nonprofit. Now, if you've been self funding, that means you have pictures and we call it receipts, right? You got receipts that you've been doing stuff on your own with your own dollar. You need to get a 501c3. Now, I'm going to give you something that I charge $1,500 for. I'm going to give you something for free. Go to the IRS if you have $250. You're going to apply for the quick form. The 1023 is a quick form for you to apply for your 501c3. It will take you 5 minutes. Don't do the long form. Don't do the long form because that's going to take you forever. Once you do the quick form, 10 the 1023 EZ, it will take you 27 days. It will take them about 27 to 32 business days to send you your 501c3 application, and then you can start raising money by next month, by this time next month. If you do what I tell you to do and go on there tomorrow and apply, take $250 and apply. It's going to take you to a place called pay.gov. You're going to have to set up a pay.gov account because this is a government account. Some of you probably already, if you pay taxes, IRS, or you have back taxes, some of y'all already have a pay.gov account. So you can use the same password, same email password to log in. and you create that 501c3 application. And then once you have that established, come back to first Thursdays in March. So you're going to have your 501c3. Then you're going to be able to hear what you can do with that 501c3 and get funding for certain things that you would normally have to pay for. And then I'll give you some hacks on how to get started in your community, because there's companies that's looking to give like micro grants, $250, $500. Every little bit helps. Start with those micro grants. Once you get the credibility established, the bigger grants will come. So I just gave you like that's like the secret sauce, how to get started. If you don't know where to get started, I just told you. If you don't start, then that just lets me know that you're not serious.
Mm, there you have it right there. Wow. Wow. That's what we talking about, Ty Woods. Thanks for coming on Black Men Sundays. I mean, you did that. What?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And enjoy your week.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away.